Welcome to Finding the Fire. The fire inside is what drives us. Left unattended, it can burn out of control. In Finding the Fire, Cindy Jacobson speaks with guests, telling stories of trauma and triumph. In sharing our experiences, we find connection and understanding. Join her now as we burn through the walls of separation. Get ready for Finding the Fire, and let's find your spark.
So are we on? Are we really on?
Yeah, we're really on this time.
Awesome. So I pulled Sean Denevan in front of the camera today, and Cammie is gone. She is. Do you know where Cammie's at?
Belize?
Yes, she went to Belize to help some traffic victims. She's setting up a humanitarian mission they're doing in March, so she has to go out there and make sure everything's ready to go for. I think there's a bunch of students from the Ivans Medical School going out there.
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah,
I'll go along with that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the group going on this one. There's also one going to the Dominican Republic at the same time, so they're kind of splitting. So yeah, and I might go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a horrible
Well,
trip.
Well, so I guess a third of it is humanitarian aid, and a third of it is a project they're doing to help the community, and then a third of it you'll actually get to experience a little bit of the country as a tourist. So you get a little bit of everything while you're there.
Nice.
Yeah. So it sounds like a good deal to me for sure, and especially since I'm a nurse and I'm a giver at heart and wanting to help people. So, and Belize doesn't sound too awful to go to. Let's be honest.
It's not.
Like,
no, it sounds good.
Yeah. Well, and of course, when we think of these tropical islands, we always think of, the American tourist view and the pictures and everything that we do when we go these resorts that are all inclusive, or we have drivers, but then you get really
into
down
the real country, all the
see what's really going on behind the scenes and how they live, and we just go there to experience their beautiful country and think, oh, they've got it so great, but really, they probably don't live like they absolutely don't live like American tourists do going there for sure. So.
I mean, they say was that when you go to those resorts, stay in the resorts, because once you go out, it's like watch out.
Yeah. Years ago, one of my favorite nurses I worked with, she would travel all over the country, and she's like, Jamaica's my favorite, absolute favorite. She says, but do not leave the resort. And I'm like, if you're going to go and experience a country, like, you should go and experience a country, right? So I mean, you can find a beautiful
they want to experience the beach,
anywhere.
They want to experience the clear water, and that's about it.
Yeah, like us pampered Americans, but
Well, you've roped me into this today.
Yes.
Why am I here today?
Oh, because I needed somebody in the hot seat. And, who better than you? Because you hear Cammie and I bantering all the time. We're always bantering with you behind the camera.
I'm the guy over there. I'm the guy in the chair.
Taking care of everything. So I wanted to put a face behind all this magic that you create for us here.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll go with that one.
Yes. I have people all the time saying, like, that podcast is the bomb. Well, this is the guy you need to know right here, because he'll get it going for you. So, yeah. So you're in the hot seat. We didn't even talk about what we're going to discuss.
No.
We're just flying off the seat of our
You
pants.
guide
here,
me.
so.
I'll go where you want me to go.
Well, okay. So you know how this works. Like, I like to get real with people.
Yeah. You going to make me cry before this half hour's
hopefully.
up? Awesome.
That's my goal always, to make somebody cry. No, it's really not. But my goal is to get past, like, we all have this story, right? We all have this layer. We all have something that we show the world. Like, this is who I am on paper. I am Sean Denevan. I run this podcast studio. I am a teacher. I don't know all of your accolades. I know you have a million. I've seen them on your jacket.
Keep going. That's fine.
I've seen them on the back of your jacket, so I know that you have a lot going on. But really, who's the man behind the scene? So yeah, if I can, I'm going to try.
Well,
and
I'm just your average
something.
Narcissistic, low self-esteem individual.
You say that jokingly, but behind every joke
is truth.
Is some truth. So low self-esteem. You don't come across that way. You come across very confident.
Doesn't everybody have that? They all think that they're awesome, but at the same time they think they're worthless. Isn't it like a
it's like
dichotomy?
The equal and opposite balance, right?
At all times.
Always.
It just takes a little bit to be like,
I know. That's when we're
That's
completely out of balance, right? It's like, oh, I'm on top of the world and now I'm down here. So ideally, if we can get that we talked about balance last time, right? There is no balance. It's always this way. But if we can get it not to be like this, not like, hey, I'm super awesome. Hey, I'm super suck. Like somewhere in here, that would be awesome. So let's pick on that for a minute. I'm going to pick on that for a minute.
All right.
Where does this?
Wow, I say a joke and it's all downhill. Thank you.
See, you can't. Yeah, there. I see right past it, and I will pick at that wound until we open it up. But so low self-esteem. Let's hear something about this low self-esteem. Why?
It's human nature.
Okay.
We all,
let's think back to like middle school.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of, because you had me pull out this Trapper Keeper. Okay, if you guys are our age, you know, do they even make Trapper Keepers?
I don't think
these
they
days?
do anymore. No.
Okay, when we were kids, Trapper Keepers were cool, but I was not cool. I couldn't afford one. And the other thing I couldn't afford was Garbage Pail Kids.
Both of which I have in my office.
Yes, Denevan had me pull them out, and they were awesome.
I'm gonna get that Trapper Keeper. She's like, oh my gosh! And
I know.
Then you open it up, and
it's like, it's from like
all the Garbage Pail Kids from like I think 2 to 5 because I got in too late. All the cool kids already had season 1.
2 to? Okay, seasons.
They have
I don't even know what
seasons
that
or
means.
episode, whatever the editions.
Yeah. So let's go back there. Let's go back to that age and what at that point, if I was Sean, what were you feeling that point in life? What would cause you to have low self-esteem at that point?
Well, I mean, I remember one thing where I loved to play basketball. So it was 6th, 7th, 8th grade at Herbert Hoover Middle School.
Herbert Hoover.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
In San Jose.
San Jose. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember playing lots of basketball, loving basketball. But when it came time to actually go to the gym and try out for the basketball team, I actually rode my bike to the gym, past the gym, and then rode it home. I was too scared to try out for the basketball team.
Oh, man. So, like, did you have any buddies that were trying out?
Yeah. Well, nobody that was like
real tight.
buddy. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew people that were doing it, but it was... You see the other kids and you're like, well, I'm not going to even bother.
Did you think they were taller than you, faster than you, better than you?
Not even that. I just didn't think that they were better than me. I just didn't think that I was good enough.
You didn't have that confidence. Man. So did you ever try out for the basketball team?
No, never did. Actually, I never tried out for any high school sports at all.
What's the worst that can happen if you did?
Well, then they'd say no, and I would cry for days, and I'd be devastated.
But
I'd be spending $200 an hour talking about it now in my 40s. Why didn't they take me to basketball?
Oh, my goodness. But instead, you just don't even, like, unless you try, you never know. Like, fail faster, right? Like,
we
try
know
out
that
for the
now,
basketball team.
but as a self-conscious 12-year-old, you're just like, that's the world. That is
very true.
I've been having a lot of retrospective thinking about time. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm in my 40s now, and how do I perceive time now compared to when I was a teenager,
right?
Or even 12 or whatever? That time was so long.
Yeah.
Now a month goes by, a year goes by, a week when you're 12 or 10. That's an eternity.
Oh, my goodness. Like Christmas break, you thought you were off for months.
So every day, every minute, every experience has much more impact on your life than it would now. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh, if you don't try, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I failed, move on. But at 12,
yeah,
I mean, that's the percentage of my lifetime at that time. It was like huge. Yeah. So I could see just being scared and being, no, I'm not going to try it.
Yeah.
This means
you don't want to be told no.
Yeah, this will affect my life too greatly. So I need to say no and move on.
And instead, we're here talking about you not even going for it at 40-something. I'm 40-something. I don't know how old you are.
Yeah, I'm 40-something. I'm 40-something enough to be like, oh, God, I'm 40-something.
I know. But, yeah, like...
I've moved from Mountain Dew to Diet Coke. I mean, this is the 40 I'm at now. Yeah. It's sad.
You know that your time's limited, so you're trying to, like, be healthier, and so you switch from one poison to another. And none of us leave this life alive. Okay. I had to tell my kids that yesterday because we're talking about skydiving, and I wanted to skydive my whole life. I finally experienced it in Hawaii just like 6 months ago. It was amazing. My older 2 children are like, Mom, I want to skydive with you. And my youngest one's like, no, I don't want to go. I'm like, you used to be my daredevil. What happened? She's like, I don't want you to die, and I don't want to die. I said, hey, none of us are getting out of the life alive, so you might as well live it while you're here. Might as well go try out for that basketball team. I mean, of course, we can't go backwards, but hopefully we can teach our kids that, and hopefully we can take that going into life going forward from here. And I just say, the worst that can happen is a no. Somebody tells you no. If you don't ask, it's a no anyway. So you might as well ask, because then at least you have a shot.
That's the anticipation, though.
Anticipation.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this
so much
word.
anticipation. Okay, so say I wanted to sign up for the basketball team.
Yeah.
Anticipation.
Okay.
And I'm going to be in it. And then there's all that excitement to go with it. And the build-up and the build-up and the build-up. And I finally get the guts to do it. Mm-hmm. And I go through it, and I miss all the pointers, and they say, don't even come back. Don't even try for field hockey. Just leave. The disappointment level is so much higher because the anticipation level is so much higher. Anticipation.
I like that word. I've never heard that one.
So it's like, why don't you just ask that girl out, or why don't you just do that thing, or whatever it's easier if you don't think about it because there's less commitment, there's less investment. But if you're built up, like a 12-year-old, like, should I join? Should I not? Will so-and-so be there? The letdown is so much more than the build up. Okay,
so since you've explained that well, then I know it's true. That's a great word. I love it, and I love your explanation of it. And so when I am terrified of something in life, like I learned this sometime in my young years, because my childhood was not the best always, but I remember about probably age 13, like being really upset and terrified and worried about something, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of thinking about it, I'm just going to go do it, because then if all these bad things happen, it happens, and I don't have to sit here and think about it over and over and over and over and over again. So the faster I do it, the faster it's over with, one way or another. I get an answer. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe that's my way of not worrying about the outcome. And for instance, when I was 19 over in Laverkin, if you live in southern Utah, Laverkin, right outside of Hurricane. And yes, I said that right. It's not hurricane. It's hurricane. There's a bridge between Hurricane and Laverkin. And some friends of ours were tying a rope off in the middle of this bridge.
You were one of those people, weren't you?
Yes. They would climb under this bridge. It was crazy to even watch them. And then they'd tie this rope off and then bring this rope around, and we would harness ourselves and tie off to this rope and jump and swing under this bridge. And like, if you watched, I'm sure, it's totally illegal, by the way.
What? No.
Yeah, totally illegal.
I've never heard that one. Everybody did that. Everybody jumped off the Laverkin Bridge with the harness on.
Oh, yeah. And it was terrifying. And I was like, I will never do that. I'll never do that. And so I also am one not to back down to a challenge. And so then my peers, mind you, I worked in the operating room, you guys. These were like nurses and even anesthesiologists, people that were challenging me. And I was just brand new. I was 19 working in the operating room, just going to nursing school. No, actually I was in the police academy at the time. Hadn't even started nursing school yet. And they were challenging me. I'm like, oh, no, you don't put me up for a challenge, especially if it's...
Wait. Isn't that called peer pressure?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yes, it was. But
if everybody else is doing it,
well,
it's a challenge.
No. These guys were not doing it. That's why I was going to show them up. It wasn't peer pressure. They were like big brothers to me.
You were inflicting the peer pressure.
Yeah. So they were like big brothers to me. I had this older brother that likes to pick on you, and he will find your weakness and just poke until you're like, ma. But so I learned really young, like, not to let it bother me. And if it did bother me, I wouldn't show it. So, anyhow, these guys were challenging me to jump off this bridge because I'm like, there's no way. And so somebody's like, I'll give you $100 to do it. Done. So they came, they brought a video camera to prove to the whole OR, because not everybody went out. And
video camera, not like a phone.
Oh yeah, it was like a video camera. Like, I'm old. Okay, it's not like just pull out your smartphone.
Another VHS tape.
It was. I'm pretty sure it was a VHS.
Batteries work for 15 minutes. Go.
I know. Hurry. So, and then you jump with a partner, right? So you, I don't know how this works, trust me, but I guess it balances the rope, because it's just like, trust me, it's so dangerous.
Isn't that like what's the thing with the little balls that go back and forth?
Yeah.
And boom, boom.
That's what. Oh,
is that what happened?
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh.
Okay. So they're like, okay, you have to run and jump off the edge, and you're like literally just jumping off the edge trusting this little tiny rope that you're tied to this harness. It's not even a safe harness. It's like just around your pelvis. It's not like up here and everywhere else, you know.
It's like a hiking, mountain climbing.
Yeah, probably like a repelling something.
Repelling harness, something simple.
Yeah. Oh man, I was so dumb. So, well, we talked about that earlier. And so I'm partnered with this person who does it all the time. And he's like, I want you to go first because newbies always hesitate. They always hesitate. And if you hesitate, then you do that thing, whatever those things are, those balls.
Pendulum balls? Is that what it is?
I guess.
I don't know.
And they're supposed to like swing together or whatever,
Yeah.
but then you can hit them and they like bang. So he's like, you cannot hesitate. You have to go first. I'm like, there's no way I'm going first. But I promise you I'll follow you. The second you start running, I'll start running. And in my head, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I run, follow him off. The scream comes out of my mouth and it cuts off instantaneously because I'm so terrified I can't even scream as soon as I hit the edge. And then I'm like swinging and I'm like, oh, I did it. And I was so proud of myself because I ran instantly and we're like hitting each other.
Oh.
And he's like, I told you not to hesitate. I'm like, I swear I didn't. Anyway, got $100 out of it.
Hey, not bad.
We'll never do it again.
Where's the video?
It's on VHS. Dude, oh, can you run a VHS in your office? I saw an old antique something in there. Yeah. I don't know where that VHS is, but if I come across it, it might still be in the operating room, actually. Might be in their old VHS player that used to be in our education room. Well, probably not because now we have that new hospital.
Laverkin PD has a copy of it. That's
yeah. They did shut it down not long after that, though. A couple months later, they came and arrested the people doing it. I'm like, I'm glad I wasn't there that day.
Well, I know people still do it, and it's been something that's been done for decades and decades. One thing about I don't know. That was part of a 007 movie.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
There's a plane they flew a plane underneath the bridge for an old James Bond movie.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That probably didn't take as much fear as jumping off of it, though.
Oh, yeah. No. Right. Are you kidding me? Flying a plane in that without, like, hitting it?
Yeah.
No.
So
that's pretty scary.
You had, your self-esteem was built up with that, and you felt like you jumped off. What about your peers that were there watching? Did they end up following along?
Oh, no.
Something?
Oh, no.
No.
Like, I was the only one that did it.
Really?
Yeah. These big men that think they're so tough, they wouldn't do it. But I told them I would never do it again. So then they said, I'll give you 200 next time. I'm like, done. They're like, I was kidding. They thought, don't challenge me. Like I
Did you get the 200?
No, because they backed out.
Oh, wow.
Chickens. But my whole point with that was like, don't think about it. Don't hesitate. Just do it. Because as soon as they did that, I'm like, done. I'm jumping before I thought about it. And like when I jumped out of that plane, they're like, okay, who wants to go first? And everybody's like, oh, not me, not me. I'm like, dude, me, because I don't want to have to sit there and panic the whole time. Like I want out of that plane ASAP. But it was amazing. There was not 1 second for me of being scared of that. It was just awesome. Have you ever jumped out of a plane?
I did. I turned 40.
And?
It was easy.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
Where'd you do it?
Hurricane. Skydive Zion.
Nice.
Guy was super nice.
Awesome.
Super great. But he made me get on a scale. And he's like, if you weigh over a certain amount, you can't jump. And I was like, oh. He's like, oh, okay, you're fine. If I was to do it today, I'd have to wait.
Yeah, they were
That's
like,
why I got the Diet Coke.
because you want to jump. So we jumped in Kauai, and the jumpers there, they said they jump all over the world. Mm-hmm. The guy that jumped with me was from New Zealand. And he said one of their favorite places to jump, guess where? One of their absolute favorite. They've jumped all over the world.
What, here?
Moab.
Oh, that makes sense.
Moab. So that's the next one I'm jumping. Because Kauai, I'm like, how do you beat Kauai, right?
Yeah,
it's freaking beautiful. So Moab's on my bucket list. So.
Well, you jump over Hurricane. It's like, hey, there's my house.
Yeah, there it is. Did you get to see Zion from where you jumped?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, you're up there, and of course, there's the adrenaline. It's the first time. What are you doing? So it's hard to appreciate everything.
Yeah.
And then it was like a little tiny plane, and it's just the two of us, and then the pilot, and it's like, all right, open the door. You get on this little 4 square inch pad. Go. And then you're not even paying attention to anything. You're just looking around. You're just falling. Yeah. I love it because you don't have the sense of falling.
You don't.
It's just like sticking your head out of a car window at 90 miles an hour. It's about that. You can't. You see these movies where people are falling and they're talking to it. No, you can't even communicate. You can't hear yourself scream.
No.
It's awesome.
I agree.
It's worth the money. Do it.
Did you get the video?
Jump out of an airplane. It's fantastic.
Yes. Highly recommended.
Yes, pay the extra for the movie. We got
Pay
that.
the extra for the video. It's so worth it. Except my cheeks are flapping la. Have you seen those dogs blowing in the wind with their head out the window and their jowls are and that was me. Totally me. But it was worth it.
Well, when you go to Moab.
Yeah. Just I get some bugs in your teeth. Did that on a motorcycle once, so excited being there like a dog with his head out the window and got bugs plastered in my mouth. I'm like, okay, keep your mouth closed from now on. No, it's fun.
So my self-esteem issues, have we solved those?
I don't think so. I haven't made you cry yet. Till you cry.
I distracted you with stories.
Oh man, it's fun to tell stories. Do you have any others that come to mind besides that one where you didn't try out for the basketball
I got lots
team?
of those. I mean, that was my childhood, and that's even something that I still experience today at different levels, where fear stops me from doing things a lot of the time.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
No. You tell me no, and it hurts me personally.
Why? What is that?
Because I feel it's a personal reflection on me. Which then
you
makes
are
me,
not uncommon. I think
which makes me not good enough, not smart enough, not whatever enough. And, well, I have to.
What if I told you that's not true?
Well, I have to appease everybody in life.
Do
yes,
you?
You do.
Do you really?
Well, I mean, how low are you willing to lower your standard of being a mother so that you don't have to disappoint your children?
So this is a good question. No, I like that you would bring in the hard questions. So that's a really good one. And this
shouldn't matter. Well, except for my kids. I don't do anything for my kids. Well, no, but do half. Do half for your kids. There you go.
So yes, that's a very good one. And this last year, and I turned 40 this last year. So, and I've always put everybody else first. Like you said, I've got to appease all these people, make everybody else happy. And this last year, I've started doing things for myself, like jumping out of an airplane, going to Kauai, doing things. And at first, it was horrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, my kid needs this. Like, she's going to her first dance, and I'm not there to. I mean, I was there for her first dance, don't get me wrong, but she wanted to go shopping on a certain day, and it didn't work out, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm a horrible mom because, wah. And I was like, wait, I got to be a person too. You know, I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. They are definitely I will do anything for them, but I've also learned that I have value and I get to be me also, because one day they're going to grow up. One day they're going to have families. One day they might not talk to me because they are upset because I didn't do something for them, which God forbid, because I never want that to happen. But, I didn't talk to my mom for 7 years, and I can't imagine how painful that was for her at this point. But if I don't know who I am and I'm not okay being me and making me happy, and I'm just worried about everybody else, then what happens when everybody else is gone one day? Because that does happen.
Well, that's the narcissistic side. That's where the pendulum swings from being, self-esteem and wanting to give and trying to get, validation for what you're doing to, no, it's about me.
Right.
So where's that?
So there's a balance.
Where's that balance?
There's a balance somewhere. And it's never going to be completely a balance, right? But some days Sean gets to go be Sean and do what makes Sean happy.
Yeah.
And doesn't need to worry about the kids and the job and the boss and the wife and everything else. What makes Sean happy? Do you know what makes Sean happy outside of everything else?
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Can you share what that is? Or is it not made for syndicated radio or whatever?
There's a good chunk of me that's introverted. Mm-hmm. So I like my quiet, alone time. I like having control over a quiet, private environment. So if it's me and a sandwich and a movie and Netflix, or just a car ride, or even just someplace where there's silence. I love going to mountaintops. Mm-hmm. I love just being able to see the chaos of city, lights at night, and then the dead silence because you're so far away from it all.
Yes.
There's been a number of times living in California where I've gone to piers and whatnot, during full moons. I remember one time I was on the Santa Cruz Beach boardwalk. So I'm on the boardwalk, and I'm kind of unfocusing my eyes on the water as the moon is reflecting all over. And it's just kind of stretching and moving. And it was like just kind of like almost one of those Zen moments where you're kind of out of it.
So what you're saying is you'd benefit greatly from meditation.
Or a nap.
Meditation. Yeah, that silence, being okay with yourself in the silence, unfocusing on. I love that you shared that. Unfocusing on the ocean, watching the moon, and not thinking. Just being, and being okay with that. That's beautiful. I'm glad you shared that. So you have the answer inside of you. I already knew it.
It's right here.
Yeah,
Time's
it's there.
up.
Time's up.
You got 10 seconds.
Okay, start meditating. I'm checking in with you next time.
I got it.
Cammie and I are gonna call you out on that. See how you do with it.
You've been listening to Finding the Fire,
Good job.
where we are finding deeper connections through sharing our life experience. Being placed in foster care, losing a child to SIDS, and a husband to suicide, Cindy has turned her story into the fuel that drives her. To be featured as a guest, go to findingthefire.com. Cindy is a former NICU nurse, a foster parent, has started a nonprofit, helps others, and supports her family by selling real estate. To find out more, go to involvedcommunity.com.